grateful for the opportunity to be on such a big stage on this national spotlight, and proud of the effort, the toughness, the resiliency of our guys. Certainly like to have a few things back, and tough one, really tough one, real tough moments in that locker room right now, but at the same time, a tremendous amount of guys that are encouraged about the potential of our football team, the caliber of team that we can be, and when we land, it's time to get on to business and get ready for next week.
Okay, we'll start on the second or third row back there, whatever it is, fourth row on the aisle. Your name and your affiliation, please.
Sam Khan, ESPN.com.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what happened with the 2 timeouts when Justin got hurt, and just kind of what happened there with that situation and 4th down call?
Yeah, the wrong personnel was in, and when we got the personnel straightened out, they weren't quite sure as to who was going to do what. But we don't blame them. We take it as a coaching staff. That's on us. We had a few guys that were down for the game, and then a couple guys that had cramped up during the game, so we're trying to make the pieces work for a certain play. And I'd rather be safe than sorry in that situation. Use the timeout and it gives us a chance to run it. Certainly, but it didn't work out.
Question on the front right.
Ryan Thorburn with the Register Guard. Mario, how do you feel about how your defense played? It seemed like in the first half and even in the third quarter they were holding Auburn, obviously the field goal attempts, and then it seemed like they got worn down. How did you see that?
I thought they did a great job all night. I think we had our chances in the red zone, as they did as well. We had a chance to score a touchdown, but if a guy drops the ball, I say we got to coach it better. And if we miss a field goal, I say we got to coach the field goal kicker better. So I'm never going to see him up here pointing fingers. We didn't capitalize in the red zone. We stopped them in the red zone as well. So, but overall, just thought the defense played with a lot of energy and made a lot of great plays.
Question on the front left.
James Kirby with the Oregonian. Mario, so much talk, even going back to last year, about the identity of this offense and running and power running. Second half, 13 rushing yards, first downs, 6-1 pass. Do you feel like you lost a little bit of that run-first identity? As good as that front seven was, do you feel like you lost a little bit of that identity in the second half?
Well, I thought we were moving along pretty well in the first half. A lot of those plays are RPOs, so if they're designed runs with tags on them, so if they are playing a certain coverage or if we are outnumbered, the ball's going to come out. But it wasn't a matter of the run not being called. Is the defensive look dictated the ball being spit out there, so it ends up being more plays in the pass column than the run column.
Front row, middle, and then we'll go to the next row.
Aaron Fentress with The Athletic. On that last touchdown when Auburn scored, it looked like McKinley was out there one-on-one with the receiver. Clearly Auburn saw that. Why was he in that situation?
Oh, he's part of the package that was in at the time. I got to check and see with, I don't know if we were nickel or dime, but he's played really well for us. He's done a good job, and guy made a really good play on.
Second row, right.
Mario, a couple game management questions here. Your second to last possession from around the 4-minute mark to 2.5-minute mark, you consistently snap the ball with good amounts of time remaining on the clock. Do you have any regrets in terms of managing the game and not draining those seconds?
Well, we try to get the play in about 17, being that we'd snap the ball around 5, 6. But we also felt that we were going to have to score. And we didn't, it felt like we had to get in a rhythm. We didn't feel that it would be a matter of taking the air out of the clock, or the air out of the ball, I should say, before we're going to have to stay aggressive.
Another question on the side, and then we'll go back.
What is your game management process? Do you have someone up in the sky helping you? I think back to Stanford last year where you had some missed opportunities where you could have won a game like tonight.
No, very different scenario. There were 13 seconds on the clock that we would have had to punt, chose not to punt, chose to go for it on 2nd and 2, just like 2 teams that did that week as well.
So
very different scenario.
Do you have someone helping you game management? How does that mechanism work here?
We have a chart that we go by in terms of the clock itself and how much time we can burn, or how much time the other team can burn as it relates to timeouts, as it relates to whether there's an injury, stoppage of play, our clock is continuing to run.
Fourth row on the aisle.
Mario, in the first half, after the long punt return and there was a fumble near the goal line that they returned back, I guess what happened in the exchange there?
Yeah, miscue right there. The mesh between the quarterback and the running back got too tight. They bumped into each other, and the ball came out.
Question on the outside left.
You were out without a lot of your wide receivers tonight. I went for Jawan. It sounded like he was going to play. What happened there, and what was the impact of the loss of those guys?
Jawan tweaked his muscle, soft tissue injury towards the latter part of the week. So him and school, obviously he knew about Schooler and Micah, but Jawan was something that happened late in the week. We thought he was going to be ready to go. He wasn't. And we held Cam McCormick out because he wasn't ready.
Got a question in the middle and then we'll go towards the rear.
Coach, being thin, you had Johnny Johnson tonight who played well. After all he's been through last year to now, you kind of talk about his progression.
He's done a great job. Johnny's gotten better. He is a hard worker, tremendous work ethic, a lot of pride, and he's a craftsman. He's done a great job just having a great offseason, and it's spilled over to a nice performance tonight.
Did you guys have a question over there? Okay, we'll come up front to the middle.
James Krep with the Oregonian. Mario, your offensive line and their defensive line was the battle heading into this one. The big three don't get any tackles for loss, don't get any sacks. Yet, as far as big chunk plays passing wise, just the 47-yarder was early and 2 more 20-yarders. Did you want to take more deep shots? Were they just not there, or did you miss some opportunities there?
Yeah, we try to take some more. You know, we got in 6 and 7 man protection, try to take some shots that were covered. Justin took off with a couple. Also got sacked on a couple. Checked the ball down once as well. So we're trying to take some deep shots. They're playing a lot of man coverage, and you have to when they do so, right? Because you're outnumbered, and which is also part of the reason where the passing numbers get a little bit skewed with the run numbers, because in the RPO game, sometimes those balls got to be spit out there.
Question on the front.
Tyson Alger with The Athletic. Was that just like a knee knock there with Justin? And
It was.
And was there confusion based on whether or not he could come in after that timeout or not?
There was for a second, and then we knew he couldn't, but he happened to get back in there, and we had to pull him out. So I was more concerned about the play being executed the right way and having everybody on the same page as it related to the formation and the personnel grouping, as opposed to just the fact that it was Tyler. Tyler knows how to run that play, and he could do a good job with it.
Would it have been the same play if Justin was in?
Maybe.
Got a question on the rear left.
Coach Brandon Cameron with K-Val in Eugene. You talked a little bit about how it was tough in the locker room afterwards. Sorry, back here.
Yes, sir.
Tough in the locker room afterwards. Obviously, you got a whole week to now prep for the next game, but moving forward, how much do you lean on your veterans to get past a tough loss?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. That's the first thing everyone's saying. You know, can we count on each other? And of course we can, because it's tough. I mean, you hurt a ton from a loss, but you also learn the most from your losses. And you just hate feeling those consequences. But yes, we count on our leaders 100%, and we expect them tomorrow to bounce back and get ready to go for Nevada.
Front row on the aisle.
Matt Preem, 24/7 Sports. First quarter, you guys had almost 200 yards of offense. I guess just what was not clicking in the next 3 quarters that prevented your offense to work so well, run game and pass game?
Yeah, they did a nice job of man coverage, pressing out some of the stuff. I felt we got behind the sticks. We were in a rhythm, getting some good chunks on first down, getting 2nd and 5, 3rd and short, or sometimes avoiding 3rd down altogether. I felt we got behind the sticks. Had a penalty once, got us 1st and 15. Just got off the schedule. You know, we were doing a really good job in the first quarter, a little bit in the second quarter, and then besides the one drive in the 3rd quarter, we got behind the sticks.
All the way back on the platform on the right.
Mario back here, Warren Williamson, Oregon Duck Football News. You preached all fall camp about the physicality and the physical nature of this team and how you wanted them to play. They went toe-to-toe with a great SEC team and Auburn team. Are you pleased with, besides the score, are you pleased with how they performed tonight?
Well, I mean, not with the score, like you just mentioned. We felt we could. We felt we could play physically with anybody on our schedule. We have a great schedule. We play a lot of physical teams, and so we prep for Auburn. We prep for the entire season. But you know, I think we knew that after our first couple of plays, our guys were going to feel confident in the fact that they could hang and play with anybody.
We got a question on all the way in the rear, and then we're going to come up here.
Coach Julian Minnesota, KZI Eugene. What was the toughest thing to prepare for when it came to their defensive line?
Well, I mean, they're really disruptive. You know where they're going to line up for the most part. Just have to be able to block them. So you have to create angles. You have to create situations to put those linebackers in run-pass conflicts. But because you have to spend so much time on those down linemen, linebackers are free to make plays more often than not. And when we felt that they had 2 young linebackers, but 2 really good players. So that's where the balance was. You know, trying to make sure you spend enough time on those big guys, don't let them destroy the game plan, and at the same time, make sure you get to your assignments to have a successful run and pass game.
Question in the middle front.
James Krep with the Oregonian. Mario, you understood the enormity of this game from a perception standpoint. You can't control what the conversation will now be nationally, but how deflating this can be. You talked about how tough it is in the locker room. How do you prevent this loss from being a loss that can beat you twice? Because Nevada did manage to come back in a big way against Purdue last night, and your guys are going to hear all week, you can't control it, but they're going to hear nationally that the Pac-12 is out of the playoff again off of one game. How do you fight that without and prevent it from beating you twice?
Well, a couple things. I think our guys all recognize our goals are still in front of us. Number two, I think we all recognize Nevada is a really good football team. You know, and the third thing is our guys, we have a really good group of leaders, and our program is built from the inside out. You know, we don't hocus pocus it, we don't build it on a poor foundation, we build it on the right stuff. So for when situations like this hit, that you're prepared to bounce back and move forward.
This could be the final question for Coach.
Mario, Justin made a throw real across the field to Spencer Webb in the first half. I guess what was your reaction to that throw?
Well, the protection broke down a little bit, and those guys were kind of, you know, stacking each other, you know, in the tight red and then into the end zone. Justin rolled out, and he just, you know, Spencer's got really good hands and is a big guy, so he threw it up, and obviously a huge play, you know, made a lot out of a somewhat busted play.
Okay, Coach, thank you.